And I got to figure out what the hell is going on with this stuff. Anyway, look, you guys, if you know me, you've been following me, you know I'm big on organic stuff, and I don't just throw out suggestions out there to buy products because majority of them is just snake oil. But check this out. There is a product out there that will do a huge benefit to your lawn and your lawn care journey if you would buy, and that would be Carbon Pro G. This product you can get at Site One, I believe. You can get it online, or you can click on the link below for Carbon Pro G to get this product. Wait a minute, hold up before you run out there and get this stuff. Let me tell you what's going on with it, and there's a particular way that you need to apply it. First of all, this is Carbon Pro G. This is what it looks like. Now, what this does, this is going to raise your soil's CEC, which stands for cation exchange capacity. And what does that mean for you? Basically, how much nutrients your soil can hold, because your soil can only hold so much nutrients. See, what most of y'all don't know is your soil has a limited amount of ability to keep this nutrients that you're putting off inside of it. And everything that you don't use, it just spills over and it spreads out and you'll lose it. It's either going to evaporate or it's going to leach out, and it's going to end up in the waterways and all that other stuff. That's why they have a limit on how much you can put out, especially out in Florida, because the soil can't hold all the nutrients that you put in, and you're probably losing 70 to 80% of what you put down. But when you add Carbon Pro G, it increases the amount of nutrients that your grass can hold. So when you're putting your fertilizers out there, the grass is going to take what it's going to take, but it's also going to be able to store a lot more. And that's where the Carbon Pro G comes in at, being able to hold on to those nutrients and store it so it can be available for your plant. This way, you don't have to keep fertilizing all the time. You can forget about the spoon feeding. No need to do it, because you are increasing your lawn's capacity to hold on to the nutrients. To give you a perfect example of this, you ever been to the beach? Any grass at the beach? No, there's no grass at the beach because it's mostly sand. And what does sand do? Nothing. It just, when water gets on it, it just goes straight through it. It can't hold any nutrients long enough for any grass to survive there. So the more sandy your soil is, the less nutrients that hold. The more clay your soil is, then the more nutrients it can hold. So this is what this Carbon Pro G and Carbon does to your lawn. It increases your capacity to hold nutrients. And now you don't have to fertilize all the time. Now, this is where people go wrong at. They go in and you take your carbon and just putting it out. That's what you don't want to do. The reason why is because this carbon is going to be competing with the grass that you have for those nutrients. It's going to be sucking up. Think of it as like a sponge. You put a big sponge off inside a bucket of water or whatever, a container, it's going to be sucking up all the water. But what if you had something off in there that need to drink that water? Well, it's going to be competing for that. Sponge is going to take it and it's going to fill up before whatever else is in the water that might need it. That's kind of like what it is. So you can starve your grass for a moment when you're putting this out there. It could drop the amount of nutrients available for your grass in the beginning until it gets soaked up. That's why you need to do this thing called inoculate or charging. I call it load up. You need to get the carbon loaded up full of nutrients before you put it out. And how do you do that? One of the ways is you take the carbon and you mix it in with compost for a couple of weeks. So you want to take your carbon, you will mix it in with this compost and you let it sit there. You wet it up, let it sit there for a couple of weeks. What it's doing is soaking up all the nutrients and it's preloading. So when you put it in the soil, it's not going to take the nutrients from the soil from being available to your grass, for your grass. Another way you can do is you take I told you guys about a compost tea. You take the compost tea and you can spray it on that and it'll soak it up. It won't take as long if you do the compost tea, maybe a few days, a couple of days, and it's already ready. And another thing you can do to get it inoculated is mix it with your fertilizer.